Greetings, everyone. This is Joanna from Universal Love Light and Heavenly Radiance Shamanic Tarot. Thank you so much for tuning in. And what a beautiful spring day. I'm so excited. Today we've got a few different decks, so we're going to see what comes out. We're going to use the Divine Animals Oracle. And this will be a weekend shamanic spread for those that so desire. Our intentions will be for this weekend as we enter into June to be a really powerful summer for all of us that are awakening into our higher wisdoms, our Akashic, calling forward our Akashic gifts, our Akashic skills, remembrances of who we are as divine beings of creator light, having the ability and the potentiality to thread, understand, transmute, harmonize into all frequencies of love and light for the greater good, for our exploration, our expression, and our experience of who we are as spirit. And I've got some of my favorite decks. Do I know what this one's called? This is one of my favorite ones. The Sacred Earth Oracle. Love that one. So we're going to use that one. We're going to use the Divine Oracles. We're going to use the Transformation Oracle. And of course the trees. And we're going to use our Animal Oracles. So thank you so much for joining us and tuning in. So let's use the Transformation Oracle. To be honest, I never use this deck. As you can see, it's all shiny and spirally. It's all so new. It's a great deck. I just haven't used it. Right now I'm going through a big shift, so I have certain decks that I go to for that when I'm going through big energetic changes and shifts. But I saw it and I pulled it out and I thought, oh, let's use this deck today. Something new, trying to allow the open and allowance energy to create newness. So knowing that we're heading into our summer months, and this is, I've been talking in a few of our videos about how profound this summer is for humanity as a collective to truly, walk through the gates of new energetic portals and potentials and coming together. That's what I really feel this summer is, a coming together of soul tribes, soulmates, those that are truly looking to collaborate. This summer will be a collaboration, entering into ideas and sensations of collaboration to truly bring what's needed and required, new systems, new potentiality, concepts, vibrations, sounds, and songs, the doorways of the new, if you will, and to really get excited about it. So we're going to pull 2 cards from this deck. That's beautiful. I love unicorns. Wisdom. Thank you. And that's a number 10. 10 is my favorite number. Oh, and Ascent. That's a 9. 9, 10. So thank you, Transformation Oracle. Put that there. And what we have at the bottom is reflection. So in the reflection, we find the wisdom and our ability to create that higher oscillating experience for who we are as divine frequencies of holy light. And what's coming to me now is this beautiful spark. And I was talking about in our previous video, which we're going to be uploading after this, is the transformation that occurs in the cells and the tissues of all that we are. Is part of the healing process, releasing those deep cellular tissue traumas from abuse and traumas and so forth. And how do you do that? Through varying different modalities and healing programs that we're going to be a part of and offering. So we're so grateful for that. But this shows me is that the healing, she's looking at herself in the reflection, but the spark of light that ignites that and creates that is in the divine sacred heart, that alchemic frequency that we intend and that we infuse. And when that co-fusion takes place, it's that what is really occurring is those old aspects of you are being harmonized into greater light, and it feels confusing and it feels frustrating and not comfortable, not in a negative way. It's just it feels more of an irritation because the body's all that you are is looking for that new balance. And how I worked through it is just beginning intensive power walking to release those parts of me that were holding back because of that unknown, the fears of the unknown, and the fears of, well, I've held on to this trauma for so long, so many lifetimes. And so, yeah, the body's experienced something in its own way, not not sometimes in harmonization of what the mind is and what the higher self and the soul is. And this is why it's really important to do to co-create an understanding of who we are multidimensionally and a multidimensional perspective when healing, because the body in and of itself requires its own needs, the bodies and the tissues, and how that body will feel confused. The body's looking for your direction. The body is looking and seeking and wants your entanglement with it. Every cell wants your entanglement, We're going to pick 2 animal cards. Oh my goodness, that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. And this one fell down on the floor, so we'll use this one. Oh, I love this. I've been getting this one a lot. This is the Black Jaguar, the old soul. So we've got 3 there. Thank you. I'll put those over there. So the 3 that came up were the butterfly, rebirth, and I was talking about, I saw a beautiful caterpillar. Oh, cool. I saw a caterpillar on my walk today, my power walk. I was just going to find going to find all the leaves, and then another one that came out was polar bear, and it's a mystic. We were talking about the gifts and the old soul. These are all about, this is what I was talking about. This summer is really truly about so many people that are obviously have been awakened and remembering who they are, but so many more people are understanding the synchronicities, the inner urges, the inner voice, the divine nudges, dreams, why you feel the way you do within those internal songs and those internal urgings and sensings that are driving you and pulling you towards certain people and certain co-creations and certain experiences, to activate gifts, to activate further exploration and collaboration with one another. That these are all in the divine timing and in the soul's plan to co-create at a collective level and a community level, so that we can bring forward what's required for the greater collective, the greater service. So many are feeling that. It's the awakening summer for gifts and experiences to come forward, to begin collaboration. It's a collaborating summer, I feel. And so many people that even have been awakened for quite some time are going to be really feeling that excitement and that eagerness and that urge to really start playing with these new gifts in a new way, because what we thought our gifts were a year ago or 2 years ago are completely different in this energy now. And we're heightening and accelerating within the webs and the weavings of these higher consciousness fields that we have access to bring down these light programs and inspirations through the divine mind that we've talked about before. The all light programs for all ascension. All ascension. It's not random. There are ascension programs for each and every person, each and every aspect of life, through the divine creator, the light programs, through the heavenly councils that are through the divine mind, offering these light programs through light pulsations through the heavenly creator, source creator harmonics. This harmonic vibration are intelligence and stories and offerings and programs and inspirations of what is required for every collective at every level. And there's various beings that are coming forward to begin inspiration and activation and co-creation of these programs. Some of us as crystal children are builders and creators of light programs, and others are those that work within the systems to enhance, purify, refine, and modify. And then there's others that are transformers. So people like me, we have so many ideas and so much excitement and so much inspiration and really go-getter attitude. We're here to create and build the inspirations and create the ideas. And we're here to create those templates of light and thought through the divine mind in that simulation and assimilation, so that it will serve the entire collective. And we have access to those higher vibrational thought forms and harmonics, and we bring them into the human form and anchoring them. And these are through that vibrational pulsation of light that is from the divine source, and why we've always recognized the divine mind as the eye of Horus, if you will. That is those light pulsations of our oneness and our existence with source creator to constantly evolve all that we are through light and love, the sacredness of joy and evolution of all light. In a nutshell. But this is what I'm sensing for this summer. This summer will be really profound for we're kind of slowly coming out of our suspension period, if you will. And we've all allowed ourselves time of reflection and time of honoring of who and what our true values as individuals and as a collective really is. And how can we now implement this new higher vibratory story of who we are, what our values are, and begin co-creating in sacred ways and truly honoring who we are as spirit. And then value new programs and creating those experiences of greatness in all ways to offer to others. And for the offering of others. So we're going to bring our trees in. Hello trees, hello Gaia, calling in the Gaia spirit. She's showing me, thank you, and the elementals. She's showing me that when I'm doing my exercise and when I'm doing what I'm doing, it's like me playing a piano. And when because I do certain things in my unique exercises. And when I do what I do, it's like playing a piano because of my intention and the fun that we have together. So she's showing me, thank you, Gaia. I don't know if any of you remember that movie Big with Tom Hanks, and he was playing that piano that was on the ground with his feet. So she was showing me that's how she feels, very playful with me, and she appreciates me doing what I'm doing, and including her in my healing and my growth and my joy time with her. Once again, thank you, Gaia. I appreciate you and I love you, Gaia. So we've got two beautiful trees that are showing up for us today. Thank you. Thank you, Spirit. And this is one of my favorite decks, the Sacred Oracle. This is one of my favorite cards. It's a beautiful soulmate card. And it's it says dependability, which is so funny because much of my experiences have been about lack of dependability and how I have not had that dependability that I've experienced, just my own life experience. You know, because there was the depth and the vastness and the wisdom of those that I was entangled with didn't have the capacity or ability to meet me at that same level. And so it was always been an experience of mine seeking that dependability and that accountability in all of my relationships that have been a very challenge for light workers and crystal seed children, because we see things and experience things at a much wider and deeper depth that others do. And oftentimes when you get into relationships, those experiences aren't returned, but those are for the exact reasons for you to be healed, heal those wounds, so that you can account and depend on yourself first. And when you do, that soulmate comes into the picture who is equally evolved to offer you that equal frequency of honor and love and dependability and sacredness. So I'm looking forward to those soulmate experiences. Having done a lot of work in that way, and we wrote an article this morning about not feeling like you have to walk being broken, and understanding why we go through what we go through in the experiences that we do, and just understanding that it's not for there's no judgment on anyone's awareness level. You know, it's just they were there to show us the depths of our ability to heal our wounds and to walk fully healed and whole, and not to take those experiences and remain broken by them, you know. As my throat is clearing as I'm saying this. So the first one that comes out is heat. Look at that beautiful experience. You see that there's two people involved there in igniting the heat within one another. And that's the Kundalini experience, to ignite the passions from within, so that each person within that experience is harmonized by the sacredness that love is at a sacred level, and being brought to a new level of creative activation, which is what love has been the sacred experience, spiritor of creativity, the flow of creative sacredness. Of course, there's many expressions, but that's just one of the expressions that he does. And we're going to pull one more. It's a really beautiful deck, the Sacred Earth. And those of you that are really, it's just amazing artwork. You see the dragonfly right on the cover there. It's beautiful. I love dragonflies. It was so fun to just play with them on my run. Oh, this is one of my favorite cards too. This reminds me of a beautiful light worker friend of mine, and she'll know who she is. Thank you. And Revolution, so beautiful. And there's so many stories that are coming to this. I can't wait to get to that card. Thank you. And then, oh yeah, I wanted to do my Mayan deck. My Mayan deck. So how is everybody? Everybody doing good? Hey, nice to have you. Nice to have you here, dear ones. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, dear ones. We're doing our Mayan oracle. Thank you for tuning in. We find you so sweet and so delightful. And never forget you're threading with all life, dear ones. Never forget that you're within all things. If you want to dance with it, it'll dance with you. Oftentimes you walk around feeling so cut off from all life, but you're not. You're not cut off at all. Just depends on what perspective you want to take on. A limited perspective, that's okay too. There'll always be something in that limitation for you to dance with, but you can open yourselves up and dance with a bit more if you so choose. There's no judgment on anyone's part, don't you know? Just know that there's so much to dance with. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that what you want to tap into? Isn't that what you want to get excited about? So much to dance with, and why not? Just throw caution to the wind and start dancing, dear ones. Start asking for a part of Gaia, a part of nature, a part of creation to dance with you. There's so much to be here, so much for you to see and explore of yourself. My hair wants to dance too. This light language just came flying out. Just keep that one. Thank you, dear ones. Backfall. Thank you. And on the bottom, we've got Kawak. Kawak is the, it's a gateway to a higher vibrational frequency. And Akbal is death. That's the death card. Which again, for me, this is what is so beautiful about this deck, is that every experience is a portal to something new, because that's life, that's creation, right? It doesn't matter how we feel the experience is, there's always a portal to that new perspective of being, that potentiality. Whether you feel, this is just what's coming to me, this story, is the 3D experience that so many are moving and shifting from. It's always just working the energy. So one can choose to stay and continue those harmonizations and those cycles of experience, but there's always going to be a point through which that centering within will allow you to create something new. And that going through this will allow you to expand within something new. And we see that the full moon is behind it. So that full moon, and I've said in several of our offerings, that because of how we are experiencing, because how we are advancing in our consciousness, how we view and represent various tarot symbols will be changing, because our consciousness is raising. And we'll find that our symbology and how we've referred to in tarot will be shifting and changing. Especially for me, I feel pretty passionate about this on the representation of the moon. The representation on the moon has been that, just the common knowledge or the understanding of that shadow aspect, if you will. But for me, it is the birth of the divine feminine that is all life. But because we have come from the way that the tarot is set up is because of the experience of duality and separation. So as we unify and harmonize, we will require various tools to be redefined and brought to a higher vibration of unity and oneness. The harmonization that is done through the inner seeking and the inner exploration of the shadow self, of the wounded self, the child self, however we want to define it and call it, doesn't matter, is through that inner seeking of the discomfort and the wounds that have been explored and defined in certain terms that limit us, I feel, and that put definitions on it that project and introject negativity and darkness, which it's completely not. And this is why I've been passionate. And anytime that I get frequencies that have the moon energy in it, is the divine feminine of the frequency that we are giving life to. And that's what that moon means to me. The sun symbolizes that father frequency. The moon is the female frequency. The female frequency is so pivotal. It's the number 13, the divine feminine frequency, the goddess frequency. to bring forward the nurturance to a collective that has been steeped in separation and duality and limitation and fear. So the goddess frequency 13 is the blessing of all 12 tribes that we're now coming into a 13th octave of frequency of living. And it must be done through that that honoring of cycles, and that's what the moon represents. It's the cycles of transmutation, the cycles of birth and rebirth, the cycles of moving through the portals of discomfort and the woundings, so that we can heal it and nurture it whole. And that's the full illumination for me in that higher frequency of shamanic understanding of the moon. And it's very representational of the harmonic frequency that is the earth song. We require that harmonic as the cycles through our transformation. We wouldn't exist without cycles. That cycle is based on a harmonic vibration. The sun and the moon, our planets, our movements through the galaxies, all that we are is based on cycles of harmonics of evolution. They allow us as species to move within those higher vibratory experiences of oneness. And that's what it's becoming, is oneness. So for me, I'm really excited that I can be one of those way showers that brings the ideas and the honoring and the symbolisms of the moon into a new frequency for those that so desire, that feel that same vibration of depth and oneness. Because oftentimes, even when I was just starting out in tarot, didn't really understand the tarot. For me, I was always just sensing intuitively such negative connotations with the moon, and those were imprints, societal, those were imprints within the threadings that I was brought with to transcend. And so in every small and little way, we're transcending into our oneness, into a higher harmonization. It can still be what it has always been, and that's okay too. There's no separation on anyone's perspective. I'm only offering, in my unique perspective, I honor the cycles and the harmonics that are offered within the vibration that is the moon, the life birthing through our harmonization and through that nurturance of those wounds. And so I'd like to offer my unique perspective and bring the beautiful divine feminine, that beautiful divine goddess, to a higher frequency of honoring and of sacredness, to be in oneness with Gaia's cycles, to be in oneness with the harmonization of the Holy Mother and the Holy Father, to know that this new frequency of the moon energy, the cycles of the moon, the divine, I cannot say that word, Jamie will help me out, reciprocity. Thank you, Jamie. That give and take equally. I cannot say that word. And this is what the moon represents to me. It's that cycle of, are you giving and receiving in the love that you are with all life? That's the Divine Mother, and as you're giving and receiving, you're learning and expanding more in who you are as oneness. So it's really beautiful. So we're going to start out the ascent and the wisdom. So this is a beautiful story. Look at the experiences here. So you see that there's a village back here, and she's got her sword of truth here, and it's on fire. I love this. So you see that she's on this beautiful unicorn. The unicorn is the majesty of new realms, and the unicorn is dream bigger and farther and wider. And she's coming from this city back here. That's not my interpretation, is that you see these beautiful daisies, which is the blessing and the joy and the unity and the purity of who we're becoming as the joyful beings that we are in our oneness. And so she's coming from this city back here, and she's on her beautiful unicorn that's all blessed in white in the purity of her journey, regardless of what it was experienced or regardless of how it was experienced. But in this moment of her triumphant declare, she's claiming her divinity. She's claiming her birthright to the wisdom that she has gained. And this city is for me replicating. She's moving on to new realms of exploration. She's moving on to new unknown territories, to unknown cities, to unknown experiences. And this sort of truth is blazing a fire, which represents to me the transmutation from one level of intelligence and wisdoms to another. It's her new truth. She's blazing it with profound certainty. This is my new truth. I am claiming my power. I'm claiming my divinity. I am claiming all that I am as a divine being, holy light, and I will move forward into these new realms of co-creation. And you can see the experience where you see these thunder and power from the heavens are saying, you've now risen to this new platform of experience with Gaia, and you see these rainbow colors of light that are just emanating from him. This is the triumphant movement from one phase to another. allowing that all of the knowledge that you've gained from all of your co-creations from that realm of experience, because many are moving from those 3D experiences to 4D to 5D. It doesn't matter how we explain it, but it could just mean moving from this represents what you're moving from, whether it be an unhealthy eating habit, whether it be job, friendships, relationships, however it might be. It represents anything that you're moving from. And you're allowing yourself to take the most magical way of transportation possible. I mean, who wouldn't want to take a unicorn? You know, they allow us to move beyond what was. They take us, break that barrier. You know, I'm not taking my fiat, I'm going to take a unicorn. You know, it allows us to truly break all barriers. This is where we're at right now. It's so exciting. This summer is about, you have the gifts, you have the skills, you have the wisdoms, you have all that you are, and you are ascending. You are creating the light fields that are all around you. This is the power that this is, that humanity has now. We can come together in oneness and the fullness of all that we are. And this is our truth. It is so powerful and so profound that the sword is ablaze. It's a truth, and it's the alchemy of who we are within ourselves and who we perceive ourselves to be, that we can redefine what we so choose, that we can redefine the ground that we walk on, and we can redefine the song that we are allowing ourselves to bloom within. And all is possible. There is nothing that we are not held within or beyond, that we cannot overcome, that we cannot heal and transcend. These are really true, powerful cards. Thank you. And the polar bear, so what's coming to me right now is so beautiful. I'll put this way, actually. That's how the story goes to me. I don't know if you can see it there, but there is this little seedlet, this little seed, this little ovary in the womb here, if you will. And so this is a story in and of itself of the cycle of life. To me, this is what it's showing me right now, is that you see this little face that is a representation of this seed and this life that's growing within the womb. And then it becomes the baby bear, and then it becomes how it treads upon the land. You can see its print right here, and then the mother is watching over it, the guardian, if you will. And it's held and encapsulated within this beautiful cycle of life, this cycle that it represents of all that life is. And within this experience and the cycle of life and the cycle of who we are as birth and rebirth, there's mystical energies and there's mystical experiences at every phase, at every moment of every breath, through which we become this beautiful rebirth of something new. And so that's just the beauty that, you know, we've just been talking about, that we were talking about in our earlier video. So if you want, look at Universal Love Light, and I posted a video about the Gaia speak and the energies that I've been moving through lately. You know, moving through a new level of experience of who I am as spirit. But the polar bear mystic says that know that challenges make you stronger. Have faith when you face adversity. Take time to rest and dream and renew your strength. Embrace your psychic abilities. You carry the shaman within. So the shaman is one that, and this is why we've called our channel Shamanic Tarot, is because we take whatever is before us and we allow it to become greater and bigger than it was a moment before through us. We are the mystics. We are the blessing of Source Creator. So that, therefore, that each and every one of our experiences and our perspectives is true and real for each of us. We each come with special gifts and unique abilities and wonderings and wonderments that we get to create the reality that we so desire. That's why no one person's perspective is right or wrong. It's all right. It's true for them in that moment, and we get to redefine and recreate our reality as we so choose. So allow things to be new. Allow things to come to that sensing that you might co-create energies and wisdoms without self-doubt, and allow it to be the story that it is becoming to you. Like we offered a while ago in one of our videos about the the sacred language and the glyphs that are on the Mayans, you know, just for one example, many of the glyphs that have been left for us to wonder and to ponder and to try and dissect and put in one delineation about what it means, which I don't think is possible, because as I was shown and as I was explained, is that many of these ancient glyphs and many of these ancient artifacts are multidimensional, and they've been added to over timelines. So what we might be looking at in one 3D experience or 4D experience, if you will, is a representation of a multidimensional language. And just as if there are many masters that have walked an infinite number of timelines, we can't say that one specific master's story was only one way, because it wasn't, because they're walking on different timelines. It's just which one are we tuned into at that moment. So that story that's on that wall, that story that's on that glyph is different. It's a multi-dimensional representation of that collective and the consciousness of this now moment that are co-creating it, just like crop circles. They're multi-dimensional consciousness co-creations. So there won't only be just one version and one image or representation of what that symbol means, and why I was offering my unique perspective of the moon and how the tarot and the moon perhaps can be perceived in new ways for each individual person and each individual energy as they're perceiving it, and bring forward your unique blessing, bring forward your unique story of what it means for you. Because you are going to add your gifts and your evolutionary gift of that song, of that note, to all that is. And that's the joy of being source. We're all right. We're all in our unique perspective view. So allow it and be okay with it and dance with it, celebrate it. Like my teams were showing me. Allow the wonderment of you to unfold and honor it, claim it, say, yeah, that's me. I get to own my wisdoms. I get to own all that I've come for. This morning, I had this is proud, and I've known this, but I've said it many times in my writing and so on, but it hit me in a different way this morning. And this is why I just love that exercising healing program. It just dawned on me, and I was just profoundly moved by the fact that this is the lifetime where I get to be the very best of who I can be. And I get to offer it forward with great confidence that I've never done before in any other timeline. So that makes me feel really excited to finally be at that place of self-love and self-declaration, that I'm ready for soul tribe. I'm ready for soul love. I'm ready for a soul vocation that I can really display and be in pride of and honor of for the greater good. And because that's always been my greatest wish is have I served? Have I done all that I can do? And have I been the best that I can be? For the greater good, to serve God, to serve love, to serve light, to serve Gaia. And that's my greatest exploration, and inspire others for their own story and their unique becoming. But it just hit me in a different way, because that co-fusion had taken place last week. And now I'm at this new harmonic where, whoa, it's becoming real now. I can feel the vibratory harmonic pulling in experiences, pulling in manifestation, pulling in matter, so that the spirit and the matter and the intention are all becoming one now. It's becoming before my eyes. That's how the manifestation process, creating from thought, if you will. So I'm feeling it, tangibly feeling it. And then we become this rebirth of the beautiful butterfly, which is you can reinvent yourself. We were just talking about that. Open yourself to the rewards of change. We can see and we can perceive change as being really exciting and really good. We don't know how it will look. We're all stepping into the unknown together. We have no idea what 5 years or 10 years are going to look like. We're all slowly opening up, if you will, after the experience that we've gone through as this collective pandemic. But how can we perceive change as really exciting? How can we receive it in a way that we're actually honoring who we are now as higher valued beings, so that we honor the education system to something new and change it and alter it and shift it, because our perceptions and our values are different. Same with our political system, same with our judicial system, whatever it might be, is all going through a rebirth. And because it must, we're at a higher consciousness level, and we must work the energy to allow for the infinite, for all change to come forward. And have that be okay, have that be exciting. Because each of us, we have brilliance to share in the world, and we are each coming forward to ignite and activate one another. Because what I've found and what I've known about, Ascension, for those of us that can channel and call in those energies, they're activating me in the harmonic song that we all have access to for my remembrance. But me offering this forward is activating it for your remembrance, and so on. And that's how the evolutionary spiral and cycle of our song goes. And even though telepathically someone's picking up on the other side of the world right now, even though the video is not even posted yet. So this is the importance of the field. This is the importance of the harmonic field that we're all working with, and how our hearts are threaded as one, tapping into that and calling it forward, so that we can call forward our unique gifts and our unique wisdoms and begin co-creating for the greater good and serving the greater good with that intention. When you serve with that intention, then all will be provided to you and all will be offered to you. When it's done with that intention, when it's done through the intention of, and they're just showing me an experience of I don't know what it's called. The interpretation of someone's gifts, if you will, and taking upon those interpretations to be of benefit that are not in the highest and the greatest good, if you will, then that will be the exact energy that and those people experience. And so, because there's been so much talk and so much energy about things coming out to the forefront, if you will, and how we're seeing things in a different way now. We're seeing the untruths. We're seeing the veils that were before us that we had co-created, that we thought were okay for people to control, the collective energies, if you will, and the collective informations, and create systems in that way. So now that things are coming to the forefront and things are coming to the table, if you will, we now see and we can feel the vibration of what's done with an integrity and what's not done with an integrity. We can feel it. It's a vibration. Just like we talked about in an earlier video about honor. Can you honor those before you? And that's a vibration that creates an open, healing experience for anybody in your presence, whether you get along with them or not, because those are working from those vibrations of separation and judgment. When you have those experiences, they're not in that fullness of, I honor you as a spirit. Is there something you want to talk about and you're very passionate about? Let's talk about it. Let's communicate. I honor you. There's always that value in movement that allows the evolution of that experience to occur. As we talked about working the energy. Working the energy is that allowance and the acceptance for it to be purely love and however it unfolds. And honoring, I honor you in this co-creation. You're God, I'm God. Let's whatever unfolds. Let's have source live through us. And honor what happens, honor what occurs. But to do it from that point of integrity, that way you're living in your highest truth and you're offering that to all others. And that's the evolution of one another, how we communicate, how we commune, how we co-create, how we offer or share our gifts. It offers that highest value of integrity. And of course, there will be those that will offer you a less than integrous experience, but that's for you to see and to feel and to honor your strength and continue knowing, wow, I use my strengths and my gifts, and I know that I can work in this way now. So allowing and accepting all to be who they are, all people will have their soul's journey and unfold in their soul's way. And it's not for any of us to judge any of it. That vibration will return. That's just the law of physics. That's the law of the co-creative experience. But allow yourself to stand pure and strong within you, knowing that you've offered your highest vibration and you know who you are. That vibration can't be, it can't be duplicated. A vibration is a vibration. That's why the teams offered me years and years ago, when they were showing me these different threads and how they can connect with every person. Every person has a unique vibration. We have names to know one another, but beyond that name, we are vibrations. And so when I'm connecting with my kids, I can connect with my kids on a telepathic, energetic frequency because I now feel them as a vibration, because I can feel it. But they were showing me now that I can see, when I was first starting channeling, I said, well, how do I know that you're you and you're connecting with me when there's like 7 billion people on our planet? And that each person has a vibration, a unique vibration. And so when I think about my guide that has this huge bandwidth that I want to play with, just me thinking about him without even knowing his name, but just feeling that vibration, he's with me right now, right here. Boom. Second I think about it, done. And so this is where we're understanding ourselves as high sensory vibratory beings that are able, to co-create and send love and be love and emulate that love through our perfection of who we are. And it can't be duplicated. What you offer as a vibration is purely you. And all that you offer through you is purely you. You can offer your most unique, most expressive, beautiful gifts that come through you and live through you. And even if people are reading it on a piece of paper, it has your vibration on it. It can't be duplicated. So that's what they were talking about, the interpretation of one's gifts. It can't be duplicated. It's a unique vibration of you and your offering. So honor it, own it, say, yes, that's me. This is where I'm stepping into. I'm able to up my own ante, if you will, and really truly valuing and honoring and loving who I am, which I've never really done before, because I was just looking at for other people to do that. And obviously, as we all know, that can't will never be a long-term solution, because you're going to need to get it from yourself at some point, you know. And so let's go to the beautiful trees, and we've got the willow tree and we've got the black elder, and these are beautiful trees, the willow and the black elder. I love the beautiful trees. Thank you, Gaia. The willow is about harmony, and the black elder is about abundance. And so we see harmony, as we were just talking, how beautiful, you know, this little beautiful musical instrument, and how we can communicate with the song that is Gaia, and how it's always abundant. It's always abundant. And that abundance will live, be perceived, be offered, and be experienced in every way, in different ways, you know, with creation. My perspective of abundant Gaia energy and my beautiful energies, you know, and feeling the gratitude and sending gratitude right now. I'm sending gratitude to all of the teams, and why I shift and I move certain times, because I can feel their love with me, and I'm just sending them love right back as I'm talking to you. So there's different things going on, you know, through these experiences. But my experience of abundance is the value now that because I've been so lonely here on this planet for so very long, and my story is changing, and I'm feeling that communion with my collective now and all that is life. And I'm feeling that abundance now of that belonging. And that's really what each and every one of us come for. We come for this belonging. We come for this oneness. And the willow is that harmony. We're creating that harmony. Harmony is that oneness. That we're always accepted. We're always allowing one another to move and to live and to do the best that we can, finding who we are. That's what harmony means to me. And it's that direct song that is oneness. So thank you. And we're going to go to this heat and this revolution. And so part of the alchemic process and part of the ascension process is these cells oscillating at a higher frequency, which means that your bodies will go through a lot more heat. You know, I've been experiencing that. If my body I'll be sitting and just having a reflection about something, and my body will just increase in heat temperature so quickly. And, you know, it just feels overwhelming, and I'm just like drinking so much water. But it's part of the alchemic process as the Kundalini rises, oscillating at different frequencies and dimensions, and allowing the revolution of who we are, the revolution of our allness, the revolution of who we've been and now becoming. You can see that she's tangled, not tangled, but she's, it's like she's ascending. She's being lifted through all of this aspects of life. And for me, she's got the moon in the background, and she's holding a sphere, a golden sphere, which represents to me new life. She's carrying this new life, this new seed to something new, to new grounds, to new gardens. And she's revolutionizing who she's been through this alchemic process of passion, you know, of who she is now as spirit. You know, who am I now? I'm coming forward. These gifts, these skills, these wisdoms, I'm ready. We're doing this. She's revolutionizing all that she is. And all of life and all of creation is, you know, forever changed. Hello, sweetheart. Hello. Hello. Hello, sweetheart. So thank you. And we wanted to, the jaguar is the old soul. Walk through life with confidence and grace. You have the power from beyond this world. Focus on what you really want. You create dreams. So again, that's using your focus and truly knowing that this is your best life. You've waited so many lifetimes to come here for this very lifetime. Allow yourself to love all that you are. Honor your body. Nourish your body. Create that daily self-care and that beautiful, you know, daily communion that just loves all life, and really be exuberant in your offering of who you are as the old soul, because you have so much to offer that this world really needs at this time. So thank you. And we've got the light language, and the light language again is the harmonic love of Source Creator. Thank you, Spirit. All right, I'll let you. So this is representation of the death. This is the symbol and the glyph of death. And we see that again, the moon is supporting this. The moon is the cycle of new life. And through the cycle of new life, there are portals for our choosing. In this particular realm, it's not like this in all realms, but in this particular experience for Earth, it's free will. this particular free will allows us to go through portals at moments of evolution, and each of us have different and unique evolutionary paths. Every soul's journey is unique. Every soul's path is unique. Every soul has its own temperament. Every soul has its own speed and acceleration, and why those that are awakened and those that are transitioning into different frequencies of light and awakening can really sit back and take the pressure off of you know, having to be any other part of besides just being empowered and inspired for all others' paths. Because every soul has its own temperament, every soul has its own perspective and its own pace. And it's there for a reason, for their gifts to be awakened and for them to walk into their lessons in their unique timing. And it's to be treasured and honored. That's why allowance and acceptance is so very key in Ascension, because it allows us the language of light, which is all source creator. And you can see that this represents who we are in any one moment of the song. And we emanate all that we are as the creator into all these paths that are available to us through the offering and the openness and the allowance of that song. But being that full open vessel of the song in the language of light, that harmonic. And therefore we can go through any portal, no matter how challenging or insurmountable it may seem. Because it isn't, it's only on that perspective that we hold in that moment. And that's why cycles are so important, because they allow us to rise to a new cycle. And that allows you to gain that wisdom to say, well, I've got the skills and the gifts now, I can handle this. I'm an open vessel. I no longer have to put those blocks and blockades up. And we can see things at a higher perspective and we can bring new meaning to it. That's what evolution is. So that the text and the classes and the textbook education or understanding that we've all had for eons, that knowledge and that wisdom can be transformed and transmuted into something that will be in alignment with the consciousness desire to explore. Because that's how we evolve, is because that consciousness of the collective is ready for something more. They're ready for something different. They're ready for something magnetic that is of a vibration. And so those vibrations will be offered. That's the unique elegance in the system that Source created through light programs. If there are things within the collective that want to be explored, there will be those that will have those gifts to come forward and offer it vibrationally. Whether it be through light language, whether it be through sounds and harmonics and all of these things, because the collective is asking for it at a vibrational level. So those vibrational impulses are sent in every moment within all things, because Source is within all things. And those light programs offer in those signatures, those light, those, like I've often said, when I get downloads, they're little packets of information and codes, and they go into my field and I can feel them. And I'm bringing them forward as codes and vibrations through my offerings, because it's the Christic vibration. Held in the water body, held in the chakras, and held in the water body of Gaia and the crystalline. So it's really magnificent. It's beyond what we can explain. It's such a magnificent and incredible journey. I'm so blessed. I feel so blessed and so sacred and so grateful. Thank you. And in that, dear lighted ones, we wish you divine blessings, and we hope you've enjoyed this series of our shamanic tarot. So many blessings, and honor your gifts, honor all that you are. Know that you're in the song of divine co-creation with Source Creator, and we thank you. Namaste.